Hi everyone, Station Master Joe here. Hope you are enjoying my virtual model magic railroad exhibition so far. This is my portable model railway layout, which is modelled on Great Waterton, an old town on the island of Sodor, home of course to Thomas the Tank Engine and his friends. Great Waterton is located deep in the forests north of the narrow gauge Skarloey Railway, and the station at Great Waterton connects to the standard gauge North Western Railway via a branch line and a spur of the main line. From Great Waterton, the branch line runs out of the forests and then alongside the Skarloey Railway, connects with the Skarloey Railway at Bluebell Valley, then runs further alongside it, and then crosses over a bridge over the main line before it finally stops at the transfer yards, located northeast of Crovansgate, which is where the main line meets the Skarloey Railway and where the railway workshop on Sodor is located. Great Waterton received its name from the waterworks in the town, which supplied water to all the towns on Sodor. When the first steam engines arrived on Sodor, Great Waterton was the main town and rail hub of the island. Over time the waterworks was closed and people began moving to the other towns of Sodor. Great Waterton was left abandoned and largely forgotten about by the people of Sodor until one day, while using a different route to get to the wharf with a delivery of logs, Thomas discovered the town. After hearing about Thomas's discovery, the man in charge of the North Western Railway, Sir Topham Hatt, also known as the Fat Controller, decided to have Great Waterton restored to celebrate Sodor Day. All the engines and the Sodor Construction Company helped with the restoration of Great Waterton, and by Sodor Day the town was restored and reopened to the public. Great Waterton first featured in the Thomas and Friends film / special The Great Discovery, which came out in 2008 and was narrated by former James Bond star Pierce Brosnan. Arriving at Great Waterton now is Thomas with his two faithful coaches Annie and Clarabelle. Now Thomas was first introduced in the second book of the railway series, Thomas the Tank Engine, which was written by the Reverend Wilbert Awdry and published in 1946. In 1984, thanks to television producer Britt Allcroft, Thomas made his TV debut in the first series of Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, which aired on the ITV network in the UK in 1984, with 26 episodes narrated by former Beatles drummer Ringo Starr. The show was retitled Thomas and Friends in the early noughties. In the year 2000, and again thanks to Britt Allcroft, Thomas made it to the big screen as the star of his first feature-length movie, Thomas and the Magic Railroad. As well as having starred in Thomas and the Magic Railroad, Thomas has also starred in all the other Thomas films / specials so far. Calling All Engines, which came out in 2005, The Great Discovery, which as I said earlier came out in 2008, Hero of the Rails, which came out in 2009, Misty Island Rescue, which came out in 2010, Day of the Diesels, which came out in 2011, Blue Mountain Mystery, which came out in 2012, King of the Railway, which came out in 2013, Tale of the Brave, which came out in 2014, The Adventure Begins, which came out in 2015, Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure, which also came out in 2015, The Great Race, which came out in 2016, Journey Beyond Sodor, which came out in 2017, and Big World Big Adventures, which came out in 2018. Thomas is based on a London, Brighton and South Coast Railway Class E2 tank engine, particularly the second batch of E2s with extended side tanks. Unlike the E2s, however, Thomas has wheel splashers, which are the arches at his front. And another thing Thomas has that the E2s did not have is an extra window on each side of his cab. Thomas has been uncoupled and is going to run round his train ready for the return journey to Crovansgate. Thomas is now coupled at the other end of his train and ready to depart from Great Waterton. His first stop on the way back to Crovansgate is Bluebell Valley. The next train arriving at Great Waterton is the Hogwarts Express from the Harry Potter films. The locomotive used in the Harry Potter films as the Hogwarts Express's locomotive, number 5972 Hogwarts Castle, is Great Western Railway Hall Class number 5972 Alton Hall. Designed by Charles Collett, Chief Mechanical Engineer of the Great Western Railway, and built at Swindon Works in 1937, Alton Hall spent most of its working life in Wales and the West Country. It was then withdrawn from service in 1963, left Barry Scrapyard in 1981, and was restored for mainline running by West Coast Railways, returning to steam in 1998. When Alton Hall starred in the Harry Potter films, it retained its GWR number 5972, but with alternative nameplates fitted, naming the engine Hogwarts Castle. The first Harry Potter film, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, came out in cinemas in 2001, and the eighth and final Harry Potter film, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, came out in cinemas 10 years later. Hogwarts Castle has now run round its train and is coupled up at the other end, ready for the return journey to Barrow on the mainland. First stop though is Vickerstown, which is the last station on Sodor before the mainland. The next engine arriving at Great Waterton is British Railways ex-Great Western Railway 1400 class number 1401, star of the 1953 Ealing Studios comedy film The Titfield Thunderbolt. The coach number 1401 is pulling was put together by the villagers of Titfield using an old wheelless coach and a small whale wagon, as seen in the Titfield Thunderbolt. And behind the coach is an ex-Great Western Railway towed brake van. Designed by Charles Collett and built at Swindon Works in 1932, number 1401 starred in the Titfield Thunderbolt as the main locomotive of the Titfield to Morlingford branch line, although number 1450, with false number plates fitted, doubled as number 1401 for some scenes from the film to allow double the rate of filming. A fake 1400 class auto tank engine, which carries the number 1462, had a brief role in the Titfield Thunderbolt as a stolen locomotive. Number 1450 is one of the 4 preserved 1400 class auto tank engines and is currently based at the Severn Valley Railway. Number 1401 is now coupled at the other end of its train and is ready for the return journey to Crovansgate. First stop on the way, though, is Bluebell Valley.